student will participate and listen to a book written by an African American. Oh no, we can't have that. Welcome to a special Florida edition of Racist of the Week, where we expose the stupidity and hypocrisy of Florida in hopes we can build a more perfect union and also laugh. As usual, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Racism. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the page, and definitely leave me any possible suggestions for nominees in the comments, especially if they're from Florida. Our first nominee, Florida State Representative Alex Andrade. As part of a broader initiative led by Governor Ron DeSantis to restrict the teaching of critical race theory, i.e. black stuff, and similar concepts in Florida's public schools, and by similar concepts, I mean black stuff, Florida State Rep Alex Andrade wanted to make sure he got this into the official record.
But if we can't have an honest discussion and say that some slaves were paid for their work and were able to actually get a portion of payment that slave owners received for their labor, then we're afraid of teaching accurate history. If you were not aware that some slaves received payment, not payment that was good, not payment that was valid, not payment that was moral. But if we can't even have that discussion in this room, what hope do we have to teach and actually agree on facts?
Now, let me first say, what the hell is wrong with you? What good is being paid? You know what? Hold on a minute. Let me gather my thoughts. When you're still a slave, what good is being paid when you are still a slave? You think they could just mosey on down to the general store and just spend that money willy-nilly? Oh, no, boss, no work today. I'm headed down to the juke joint tonight at the plantation across the way. While it is true, there are historical records of some slaves being paid, it was so rare, it would be like telling my son, well, you know, me and your mama both breastfed you. I mean, he tried it once or twice. It didn't work. We both moved on. At least I think we did. He hasn't tried that in a minute. Hopefully he's done with it. There are more examples. In fact, many more records of slaves being assaulted, them and us. Why isn't that in the record? We never talk about that, do we? But this is something you just gotta mention. Now, first it was DeSantis saying that slaves learned valuable skills, you know, when they got to hit the free market after their contracts ran out. You know, I knew one slave, he played out his contract. Yeah, and then Massa tried to franchise tag him, but he said he would sit out till he hit free agency, and Baltimore just gave him the bag.
I think what they're doing is I think that they're probably gonna show some of the folks that eventually parlayed being a blacksmith into doing things later in life. But the reality is all of that is rooted in whatever is factual. I mean, these were scholars who put that together. It was not anything that was done politically.
So first it was DeSantis saying slaves learned valuable skills. Now they were paid. You really are turning this into an unpaid internship, aren't you? Just a nice little summer job during the break from Africa. You know what? Let's hear that clip again.
But if we can't have an honest discussion and say that some slaves were paid for their work and were able to actually get a portion of payment that slave owners received for their labor, then we're afraid of teaching accurate history. If you were not aware that some slaves received payment, not payment that was good, not payment that was valid, not payment that was moral. But if we can't even have that discussion in this room, what hope do we have to teach and actually agree on facts?
By your own admission, it wasn't payment that was good, not payment that was valid, and not payment that was moral. So what are we even talking about then? Now, the bill in question, known as CSHB 1291, seeks to curtail courses that delve into systemic racism, sexism, oppression, and privilege within America's institutions, sadly making Florida's children unfit to work in, with, or remotely understand America's institutions. Florida Democratic Party Chair Nikki Fried said in a statement, quote, "Florida Republicans are hell-bent on teaching our children that slavery wasn't bad." Rep. Andrade's comments today are just the latest example of the GOP's obsession with whitewashing history. Any answer that tries to justify or whitewash the evils of slavery should be considered disqualifying for office. And guess what? It used to be, but so did running for the White House under 91 cases and a failed insurrection under your belt. We live in different times. Now, Florida State Rep. Ashley Gant responded on social media, "The atmosphere in the House chamber is so insulting and disrespectful. White men telling me I may not be aware of facts about the enslavement of my people. Who the F do these people think they are?" You know what? I'll tell you exactly who they think they are, Ashley Gant. White men. Oh, wait, there's more. Our next nominee, Governor Ron DeSantis. A Miami-Dade County parent expressed outrage after allegedly being required to sign a permission slip for his daughter to participate in a read aloud event featuring an African-American speaker. Chuck Walter, a parent at Coral Way K-8 Bilingual Center, voiced his frustration and shared the clip on social media. You know what? Let me take a look at that. It says read aloud in the library. Student will participate and listen to a book written by an African American. Oh no, we can't have that. Not an African American. They might get indoctrinated. I mean, how long is this? It says 30 minutes? No, 30 minutes. No, that's crazy talk. Not my little girl. Not my little girl. We walk down the street and we see an African American, we just keep it pushing. You never know. Now, some of you are thinking, well, maybe this is just something they do. This isn't about it being written by an African American. Then why was it on the slip then? Why was it necessary to note that? Why doesn't it just say a read aloud? And yes, that's me, an African American, asking you that question. Hopefully that is okay. We'll send you a digital permission slip for you to watch this video. And in this case, we have receipts because he said unequivocally he's never had to sign a permission slip for either child to participate in similar events in the past. Now, the introduction of permission slips for educational activities is attributed to Florida's Parental Rights in Education law, signed by Governor Ron DeSantis in 2022. The bill is closely related to his Individual Freedom Act, otherwise known as the Stop Woke Act, which DeSantis signed to prohibit Florida employers from speaking on diversity, equity, and inclusion topics during workplace trainings. Now, Miami-Dade Public Schools responded to the controversy, saying, quote, "We realize that the description of the event may have caused confusion, and we are working with our schools to reemphasize the importance of clarity for parents in describing activities and events that would require parental permission. However, in compliance with state law, permission slips were sent home because guest speakers would participate during a school-authorized education-related activity." And to that I say, clarity wasn't the issue. You made yourselves quite clear. In fact, there was an overabundance of communication and clarity. I know exactly what time it is, and in Florida, it is 1863. By the way, black folks aren't taking any of this lying down. Did you hear about the possible boycott of the University of Florida by black athletes? Yeah, check out the video in the link. And if you have somebody you would like to nominate, you could leave it in the comments, or you can always email me at reese.waters@gmail.com. As several of you have, I appreciate that. Be sure to subscribe to the page and turn on your notifications so you know right when the next video drops.